I don't want to be offensive, but that's kind of what the whole video is about, actually. So. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. 3v3 is upon us, folks, and whether or not we love it, we need to be able to compete in that game mode, and I have all the new awesome tech and comps to be able to talk about today. I'm going to be putting out this video for the offensive teams at the same time as I put out my 3v3 defensive teams video, so follow along with that. I'm also going to be splitting it up with this video will show all of my 3v3 Galactic Legend comps. That'll be at the end of this video, and on the defense teams video I'll show you all my more advanced comps for teams that maybe you wouldn't usually take, or actually have available. So, for a bigger account, I'll show you guys the things I'm planning to do with that. Thank you so much to my patrons. You guys are amazing. All of your support is truly appreciated. Thank you guys so much. And folks, please help me mount the algorithm. It would be very much appreciated. Like, subscribe, comment. Very, very appreciated. Now, let's get to the game and start talking about this madness. Now, we're in the game. Gosh, this is my middle account, and it just jumped up a ton of GP because I bought all the new packs for it. I'm gonna be gunning for I'm gonna try to get 4 Galactic Legends in like the next 3 or 4 months, which is a little bit psycho, but we only have 3 Galactic Legends right now, so I'm going to show you all my team comps that are maybe more approachable to people, more baseline teams. I know that you probably still won't have all of them, but hopefully you'll be able to come up with a few good solutions. Now, my plan on this account is usually to go pretty offense heavy and put teams on defense that are going to trip people up, but not necessarily things that are going to just get like stop your opponent cold necessarily. I mean, it happens, it does, especially in 3s. Even though you use way fewer characters in 3v3, you still get stops because you run out of teams. Everything is so top heavy sometimes. So that being said, we have 2 Galactic Legends on offense. These are my 2 Jedi Master teams, and I like to do that because I like to stay flexible with my other Jedi available, because Jedi Master Luke sometimes really wants to be with Revan or Jedi Knight Luke or Mace, well, usually not Mace, depending on the situation though, and having all your Jedi available for offense is a really nice thing. The exception, of course, being the Qui-Gon Jinn team. There might be other Jedi, I don't know, we'll have to see. Go watch my defensive teams video, folks. That's linked, by the way, in the video description if I didn't tell you that, or you can wait to the end of this video and I will you can just click on it if you want to watch it there. They're both places you can link. So both of these teams, I mean, look, there's not a great way to kill Jabba in 3v3. I know that Starkiller works for some people. It has about a 40% win rate, and in Kyber 1, it has about a 20% win rate. So Kenobi has like a 93% win rate with either GK or Mace as the tank. I like to save Mace for other teams to counter, but this... yeah, I like this team a lot for offense in 3v3, for sure. Jedi Master Luke is kind of just a sad little man, and he'll kill a lot of teams that aren't Galactic Legends, basically. He's like, I'm a real Galactic Legend, and the other Galactic Legends are like, sure you are. That's cute. So, then we have the Inquisition team, and I realize not everyone's going to have Reva. I know that. However, if you don't have Reva, you can still have Grand Inquisitor. If you don't have Grand Inquisitor, then just don't use Inquisition that much. Like, put them on defense, I guess, and hope they steal like 1 banner, or just, ignore them and see what happens. So, anyways, this team is very good for offense. It kills most Galactic Legends in 3v3. It won't kill Jabba, unfortunately. It has, what, like a 20% win rate? Something a little bit sad. But it'll kill a lot of Galactic Legends. It'll take out most teams. Not Malgus, but otherwise it does well. On offense, you only need one Omicron on Riva, which, gosh, all of our ability materials and stuff are really starting to be strained at this point, aren't they? The Zetas especially, gosh. CLS, you can put this on defense. The problem is if your opponent is good, they're just going to use troopers and punch CLS right in the head, right in the face. I guess one way you could maybe mitigate that and put it on defense is if you get a rebel cron that Datacron that lets him take only 70 or only 25% damage. That being said, I'm almost convinced that I could take out CLS even with only 25% of my available damage from Dark Trooper, given the last set 10 of Datacrons because of all the armor pen. We'll have to see exactly what happens, but for offense, this team can do a lot of good, take out a lot of just random teams. Remember, all the turn meter that you're getting is going to give you a lot of turns, so you want to avoid teams that can negate your turn meter, or, I mean, there's obvious weaknesses on all these different teams, but a team that's going to have a really good burst damage right away is maybe one that you want to stay away from on this team, because you don't start super fast. You just kind of build over time. Usually you're not the one who gives the first punch, though, so be careful with them on offense. A lot of times when I keep them for offense, I end up not using them because my opponents, which, I mean, on my main account especially, it's tough because my opponents are just crazy strong players and have really good comps, and this team won't beat any like really strong comps right now. That being said, you put it on defense and you probably just get punched in the face by Imperial troopers. So decent place for them to be here. I wouldn't say that they're world beaters, but solid offensive team for sure. And in the mid game, they'll take out most teams that you encounter. Now, we have the Star Killer squad. I really think now we have... I keep wanting to change this squad around, especially Malicos is here. I'd love to see what Malicos can do. However, I don't really think this is the time for that, because we have that really new awesome Datacron that gives UFUs, the unaligned force users, riposte once you do a special, and the idea of Starkiller hitting under protection on people is just very, very appealing, especially because he assists so much, given Mara Jade and Emperor Palpatine constantly calling him to assist. It's tough to ignore, folks. So this is probably the same comp that we always use, as always. It'll be good. It'll be fine. You'll be fine. General Veers he got such a huge boost, man. The Datacron sets this season. I try not to do these videos with a ton of Datacrons in mind, but you just can't avoid it. We're talking about the meta. We're talking about like the current awesome teams, and troopers they get such a huge boost, either from set 10 or set 11, depending on which one you want. This team, even in 3v3, they're going to get pretty close to endless turn meter loop on this team. And or if you want to use the set before, Dark Trooper loves armor pen. Either way, this team is back in a big way now that the thick crons are gone, and I'm excited to see them. Now, for Iden, I know that a lot of people are just currently farming Scout Trooper. I mean, that's actually my most challenging farm currently on this account, because Drogon we can't farm yet. So, and I actually have more shards of him right now. Maybe I finally passed him with Scout Trooper, but it's not really a great situation for Scout Trooper. But I mean, in the current meta, man, the Iden team is going to be destroying people. It's also going to be like Stormtrooper is going to be really good. There's that Datacron that gives 400% offense, or 400% of your defense turns into offense. And Stormtrooper has some really interesting interplay with that. Iden, of course, is going to just, the Alpha Strike capabilities from her being able to hit first, it's going to be very impressive. there's a Datacron for Stark currently, there's a Datacron for Scout Trooper currently. Scout Trooper can't really fit on the Veers team. That Veers team is kind of just solved for 3v3. There's no way you can really put like Scout Trooper in. In 5, Scout Trooper probably goes with this team. We'll see in 5s. Well, stay tuned for that video in a month. But Scout Trooper, for now, I think has some really interesting stuff going with Iden as well. So just pick 3, whatever your best 3 are. Obviously, if you want to use a Datacron, you need them to be relict. So, you know, or if you don't want to use a Datacron, then do what you want. Scout Trooper, of course, does not have any Zetas on there. I don't know if that's necessary, actually, for what Scout Trooper does. For other Imperial Troopers that aren't Remnant, I'm not entirely certain. Now, we have the Bounty Hunter builds. Obviously, we can use other Bounty Hunters as well. If you're going to try to take a swing at Lord Vader. Now, Lord Vader, if there's a comp that has, if it's a Lord Vader comp with Thrawn and Maul on it, then you just... Troopers aren't, or sorry, Bounty Hunters are not the answer for that comp. You'll just get destroyed almost every time. However, if they build, if they're a little bit foolish and build a different team than that, if it has Royal Guard and Maul or whatever, you can use Bando here and you can take out a Lord Vader squad. You can also use these guys to clean up a Lord Vader squad, though in that case, you can actually just take Beskar Mando off and use a different Bounty Hunter like Bosk. However, if you do use this team, then you can always use this Bosk team with Mando and then some other bounty hunter. I mean, Boba's probably fine here. He doesn't have a specific use in this current set that I'm aware of, and you can do that. Or if you decide not to take out Lord Vader, then you can, which is probably going to be most times. Most people are pretty wise to that really awesome Lord Vader, Maul, and Thrawn comp. If they're wise to it, you can put Beskar Mando on offense with Han and Chewie if you really want to, and then you can use the trio of Bosk, Greef, and Mando. One thing I want to point out, folks, is if you're not facing Lord Vader, don't use Fennec Lead. People use Fennec Lead a lot, thinking that it's going to be this transcendent thing. Well, it kills a Galactic Legend. However, it kills the Galactic Legend because of specific mechanics that interact with Fennec really well, and Greef. If you don't have a million debuffs to get rid of immediately, to get your instant contract, then you're probably going to want to use a different character as lead, because that's the only way she gets her contract, is if you dispel a ton of debuffs. Just an FYI, I see that a lot. Streamers do it, other players, really advanced, high-level players, do it because they forget. Fennec Lead is only good against specific builds. Now, Mon Mothma is kind of the hero of the hour, folks. I'm excited to see, hero of the hour, just because Wedge has a cool Datacron that lets him assist every single time someone goes, and so he's going to be assisting twice every single time. Obviously, if you have the Datacron, you need him to be Relic 5. I don't have him at Relic 5. This is a littler account, and I mean, I know that it's 10 million, but at the same time, I'm not going to have the bandwidth of these crons that I would prefer. But if you have the Kron, Wedge is perfect here. Otherwise, I like Biston here instead. So here's some Jedi comps. If you're gonna go against Malgus, I mean, this is one of my favorite 3v3 off-meta counters, and now Malgus does not have either the Sith Krons or the thick Kron, like both of them, you know, they're just gone. Malgus is going to be a little more vulnerable, still gonna be a tough out, but you can probably do it. You want Jedi Knight Luke lead in that situation usually, and then you can actually, I think you want Luke and Mace, and then probably want Hermit Yoda, but then you can have a pretty decent Jedi Knight Revan team with Basti and Snips. Snips is kind of the odd woman out in 3v3 a lot of times, and so you can probably find a different Jedi that's better there. I don't know, like Plo Koon might be cool, Jolie might be okay if he's not hanging out with Jedi Master Luke, etc. This is why I like to have all my Jedi around, on offense, so that you can mix and match as your situation necessitates. Wampa is going to beat the hell out of some people. He's been a little bit stymied against certain builds with the thick Kron out there, and now he's free to hunt once again. Treya, still my favorite comp, guys. I put this on the defense and offense sides. Like you'll see the overlap there, just because it's great both places. Now, keep in mind, if your opponent is wise to it, there is a comp with the Gidme team that you see below here that except if they have, if they have Shock T available for that comp, you could actually take out this Treya squad with Gidme, but you need Shock T there. So if your opponent's not wise, if you're doing some scouting or whatever, and they don't know what to do, other than Gidme, there's not really a good off-meta counter to this Treya squad. So you put it on defense, and they don't have anything other than a Galactic Legend to kill it, and it will, like Jedi Master Luke, again, he's cute. He doesn't kill all the comps because he's just pretending to be a Galactic Legend, kind of, in some ways. At least in threes, he's a sad boy. So Treya squad on offense and defense. This team on offense, obviously, well, maybe it's not obvious, but it kills the Reva Inquisitor squads very easily, very cleanly. You get nearly max banners every time, and yeah, obviously it takes 2 Omicrons, but gosh, this team is so good, man. It really is. I'd avoid putting a Zeta on Nihilus, though. I'll just say that. Now, the Gidme team punches way up, and I'm interested to see that this team is going to disappear at some point. Maybe not in threes, I'm not sure, but we have the weird new Moff Gideon, the Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, that isn't somehow like a demotion. He's like, hey, you're a trooper now. Congratulations on your promotion. But he is really good on this Gidme team. You just need Padme, a Galactic Republic support character, and then Gideon. And this is like, in my opinion, this is like the golden standard team of, if you put something on defense, is this team going to just delete it? And it does just delete a lot of teams. It does really well. Like I was saying before, Shock T is kind of necessary on this team as a support for Galactic Republic to be able to kill Treya, because she dispels on basic before all that courage goes through, and so Ayla's not going to do it, though there is a cool Ayla currently, so she's able to assist all the time. I like this build just because I don't have a good place for Ayla in 3v3. She could probably go okay with like Jedi Master Luke, I suppose, but one way or another, guys, this team is really good for offense, and I'm interested to see where Moff Gideon is going to be once we have the new guy, the new whatever his name is. Also Gideon, also Moff. Okay, so Han and Chewie kind of just require a lead, folks. That they just need someone to lead them, because they don't have a leadership themselves. They could go with just Queel. Honestly, Queel's not a lead, but he gives them a nice offensive boost. If you have Bando available, he's probably my favorite lead. But you can also use like Greedo. You could use OG Boba Fett. You could use anyone who just gives them a nice boost. I mean, even Finn from Resistance gives them a 30% offense boost. That's what they want, something to interact with. Bando does a lot more, like he'll be able to heal them, keep them, max banners, etc. This is my favorite build for them, but it's not the only build out there, certainly. Now, this team I'm really excited about, folks. This is very, very silly, I realize, but I mean, we've been doing this team for a while, using this team for a while. I need to get him a couple more relics actually before lock, but we have the Akbar Datacron here, guys, and I foolishly put an Omicron on him and on Princess Leia. I'm not saying that that's a good combination. I'm not advising people put those on, but I've applied them years ago at this point, and with Stormtrooper Han at relics, this team is going to be super fun. Look at what I have for Datacrons, guys. I have Drogon, which I just randomly rolled, and then my second one. I was like, just please be Akbar, please be, yes, it's Akbar. It would have been also cool to get Wedge, but I'm really excited for this team. I don't really know how well it's going to do in threes or whatever. Like, I don't know how hard it's gonna hit up, but it was already killing most people's teams with Adrad on it. I'm excited to see if it can kill more. Who knows, guys, but we have the Datacron for it. I just need to put who has Bronzium to spare for Akbar, though. Gosh, It's rough. Okay, so now we have Separatists, and the builds for Separatists are pretty weird. I like to keep them for offense though, because Watt. So on this account, I have Maul, and usually Maul is going to be on offense. Honestly, probably even this coming season, probably going to have Maul on offense. Going to use Watt with him potentially, unless my armor is fast enough, which, I mean, my armor is 330 something speed, which is fast enough usually to get first turn against whatever comps I need. But you can choose between, I don't have a good Brood Alpha, so if I want to put a Datacron with this team, then I'll probably need to use Watt, and then that opens the door for me to have GL Newt here, and this team is really nice to be able to help me take down certain Tusken builds, because honestly, Tuskens, they're a problem, folks. Tuskens in 3v3 with the Tusken Raider Omicron are really tough to take down, and this Newt team can do it. It's pretty nice. It doesn't always take it down, but the nice thing is against the Tuskens, you get Jango to ignore the revive, and then he's able to just kill the Tusken Raider, kill the clone Tusken Raider, and then kill the juicy insides as well, hopefully. And anyway, this team isn't 100% against that, I suppose, but the other nice thing is if people put, like you can see this pretty messed up Night Sisters team. Night Sisters teams are all weird, and especially now that the Night Sister Kron is gone, maybe we won't see him on defense as much, but Jango also deletes Night Sisters, denies them their revive. One of the best Zetas you could ever apply. Early game, late game, just go apply it, folks. Now, Night Sisters are... I'm surprised I didn't put the caption Awkward Night Sisters, because who knows what the best build for them is, especially now that the Marin Kron is gone. It's just, I mean, and this account doesn't use that anyways, but Marin is really good. Love her Omicron, love Asaja's Omicron. Not necessarily advising you have to do that right now, especially now that the Datacron is gone, but in 3s, 5s they're great. They'll have a role. They'll be killing things for a long time. However, in 3s, there's not, like, you want 4 Night Sisters on a team, and so I've kind of just, you don't want to put them on defense anymore, in my opinion. I think you just get rolled, but because the Kron was the thing that just destroyed people last time. I think now you keep them for offense, and you kill teams of opportunity, targets of opportunity, and I mean, this, I don't know, like, this Asajj team is not going to go anywhere, really. I just... What are you gonna do with Night Sisters? What can a man do? Like, you can kill like Geonosians, I guess, with them. You can probably kill some versions of like Mon Mothma, like basically filler teams. We'll see, guys. We'll try to stretch it out this season and see. But with the, we didn't accomplish much last season. Hopefully this season we can figure something else out. General Grievous squads are one team that I'm going to be targeting, and that's going to be usually like Mother Talzin, Marin, and either probably just Old Daka, to be honest. Either way, get that Marin gear 12, guys, so that you can get that last ability. It's really helpful because she can revive as well as Old Daka. Now, at final 2 comps here for offense, and okay, for some reason, that's right, I put them on the bottom because I had to switch some things around. So, alright, if you have Lord Vader, then you're going to probably have Maul off and doing something else, probably, you know. If you do have Lord Vader, you probably want Maul to be with Lord Vader, frankly. In 3s, right now, I don't see much reason not to do that. But if you don't have Lord Vader, you can do something weird. Like, I think I have more team comps. I forget. I put these on defense as well. I think we'll have more to talk about there as well. But the Seer team with Cal is just weird because Malicos and Fulcrum are both they like to have a spot with Seer and Cal. Of course they do. But Malicos would also love to go with Maul. There's also like the Imperial Super Commando and Gar that would love to go with Maul in this set, so that's probably what I'm going to try to do. Well, on my main account, probably not. There's a lot of teams that want to go with Maul currently. Maul wants to be with Malicos and Seer and Cal, whatever combination. He wants to be with Imperial Super Commando and Gar because of that rework. He also would like to just be on his own with Canderous and Armor, potentially potentially Watt if you need him, but one way or another, I think if you have a good Malicos right now and you don't have Maul available, it's pretty easy to just, I think you just have to elbow aside Fulcrum, say, hey, sorry, maybe find a different team for her. But Malicos with these two, I know there's not a tank, though I guess if you have the Datacron for him, he's kind of the tank, which isn't ideal. Though if you have Cal there, he's going to stay alive pretty well. It's just, I think because these other two are going to be doing specials a lot anyways, Malicos is still going to assist a lot, and he's going to be doing some stuff. He's going to hit pretty hard, and his impact in threes is going to be pretty dramatic. He can ignore taunt if he's with Ufus, and he can do a lot of cool stuff. And I think he's gonna wreck some face. You can keep him for offense, put him on defense, one way or another. Malicos goes well with Maul as well. You'll see me this season doing all kinds of weird stuff with this combination of teams, I'm sure. On offense especially, this is going to probably be the optimized build if you don't have Lord Vader. If you do have Lord Vader, then Maul is not really available. He kind of needs to be with Vader, in my opinion. And then the rest of them will just be mixed and matched, and Candace probably just sits on the bench, as will Armor. Anyways, guys, go check out my defensive teams video. Hopefully a little more brief about the team comps. Oh yeah, let's go look at my Galactic Legend comps real quick. Hold on. Whoa, we're on my main account, which is only 2 million more than my little account. That is fairly trippy. Now, just for my comps, probably Jabba. I don't know if he's going to be on defense. Probably on defense in threes, and then fives, we got to take him off because there's too many things that take him off the board really easily. But just a pretty standard Boosh and Chrysanthemum. I don't see a better combination for him anywhere, or a better use for Boosh or Chrysanthemum. This is just a pretty, in my opinion, this is a lock. You don't want to move anything away from those three. Now, with Rey, I think unless you're doing something strange for offense, this is my favorite build for her. She just has her, in my opinion, her two lifters. You have Ben and Jedi Training Rey. I know that Jedi Training Rey can run her own team, but in threes, she's not that good anyways on her own. She really wants a full 5-man team if she can get it, and you're not going to give it to her in fives either, frankly, but you want to use her in threes with Jedi Training, or with Rey. They just work so well together. All of the healing immunity that's locked here really just demolishes people. It's a very strong combination. Now, with, I don't know why this is Zombicron. Oh, it's because I used a template before. There's no Zombicron. I apologize-ish for that. I don't really care, frankly. You can be mad. But Kylo really does like to have crew and Hux. You can do something on offense if you want to. You can put some Night Sisters with them if you really want. Of course, you need your Night Sisters to be relicked if you're going to do that. But he's going to be able to take down a lot of stuff with the Night Sisters. That the Night Sisters specifically are Zombie and Oldaka. You can also have a combination of Supreme Leader Kylo with Watt and Armor, and he'll be able to take down a lot of like Lord Vader comps. I like this comp. If you're going to put him on defense. On offense, probably, honestly, my favorite comp. Hold on. There we go. Clear as mud, right, folks? Against other teams. I mean, you can mix and match. Probably against the Lord Vader. The current Lord Vader comp with Thrawn and Maul, probably the safest comp is going to be with Crew and Watt, actually. I think that's my current favorite. But and then General Hux is kind of available if you have his Zeta. Like, he can do some okay things in threes. He can delete some lower level teams. Or if you have the Omicron on First Order TIE Pilot, it's not a great one, but if you have invested in it like I have, then you can get a little bit of value out of that with Hux, and you probably need First Order Stormtrooper, something like that. Now, Lord Vader, this is the best comp. Put it on defense and just leave it there. Honestly, I don't see much reason why you shouldn't do that. In the current setting, this is still just going to be good. Thick Krons are gone, but there's still Krons with defense and a lot of protection or health, and you should just do that, guys. This team is just awesome. It's the best version of this team ever, and it stops people from using off-meta counters against it, at least any that I'm aware of, and That's the best thing. If people can use bounty hunters on your Lord Vader, that's ridiculously strong value, and you don't want them to get that value. You want them to pay the price, which is another Galactic legend. If they use Kylo, you're going to end up killing both Crew and Watt, and you're going to get a ton of banners off of them anyways. And if they want to use Jedi Master Kenobi, then they're not using Kenobi on like your Jabba team or something like that. Now, speaking of Kenobi, I like him for offense, or, I mean, if you put him on defense, probably in 3s, there's not a ton of stuff that's going to kill it. I mean, the thing that I don't like is a lot of people keep their Inquisition for offense, and Inquisition will eat this for breakfast, assuming Inquisition actually eat breakfast. We're not sure about that yet, but one way or another, this team will just destroy people. On offense, I would keep this and make sure that you can kill Jabba, because Jabba or potentially Lord Vader are going to otherwise eat your lunch, because they eat lunch as opposed to wow, why are we so concerned with what meals each of them eat? Like, what does Sith Eternal Emperor eat for dinner, for instance, or supper? Tea time, for that matter. Now, on offense, Sith Eternal Emperor almost always either needs no one to help him, or Watt is nice because he keeps Sith Eternal Emperor without debuffs. It's nice to keep him debuff free against, like, if you're countering Malgus, really nice to be able to have that. Otherwise, you could get debuffed all the way to hell. Now, on defense, he's really good in 3s as well. You just want one of these 2 tanks, either Savage or Malak. You could put Talon with them. You could put Sith Empire Trooper, though Sith Empire Trooper is less awesome, because if you shoot him, it gives people the opportunity to shoot Sith Empire Trooper instead of Savage or Malak, because there's obvious detrimental effects if they shoot Savage or Malak, and if they shoot Sith Empire Trooper, they're kind of just getting a freebie. They're like, hey, look at that, I'm just doing a little damage, nothing big. So, all right, so for Jedi Master Luke, probably just nothing too crazy, honestly. On defense, you could maybe do something weird with Watt and Bastille, though that loses to a few different teams. It's not as awful in 3s as it is in 5s. 5s, there's a ton of comps that beat it. In 3s, you'll still lose to, like, Inquisition, but, I mean, I like that. The thing is, can you spare Watt for it? That's the real question. If you can, and you can spare Basti, then it can kind of work. It can kind of work to use Basti lead, Watt, and Luke. Otherwise, I'll just keep him on offense, and he'll just plod along. Now, I know not a lot of people have Leia. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, because there's a Datacron involved. I don't have her ultimate yet, but there's, like, the one that's obvious. The 2 characters that are kind of written for her, which are R2-D2 and Captain Drogon. Seems like they're just being shoehorned in. Like, yes, obviously you have to use them. However, Drogon goes really well with Saw Gerrera, and R2-D2 can be used on a Gidme team. He can be used on the bench. He can be used a lot of places. So Tanky Leia is another option. I know that some people are talking about just taking, like, you want a Jedi tank to get all the cool stuff that Leia gets from them, but then having a pre-taunt in Baze is also not a bad idea. I know that someone even was saying, like, taking this comp, just sticking R2-D2 with instead of one of them. You could, and here it is. You could have Old Ben, and you could have R2-D2. Which one is best? I don't know, folks. You're gonna probably, we'll see as the season progresses. In 3s, it's just, will I keep her for offense, put her on defense? If you're keeping it for offense, you probably have a lot more flexibility. On defense, you probably want to give a comp that's going to mess with your opponent the most, and I don't know what that is, frankly. So stay tuned, come watch me on Twitch, linked in the video description, and let's sign off. This video is, as usual, longer than I would have preferred, but guys, thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.